I started university. Took a geography course to learn the datelines and maybe use a sextant. Now I just press facsimile. Exactly where you wanted to be. That's what you said.
You wanna watch TV, sleep
All day you lay in bed, but
you're forgetting that I got to go to work and eat my food, and pay my rent and reproduce, and feed those kids and maybe use a sextant.
I don't miss you. It's the thought
Of what we were. This is the part where I shut up and let you infest my brain, wrap your arms around my cortex, dig you in and let
let you drain. You'll never get rid of me. I'm like a fucking disease.
I'll make a home in your gut, 'cause it's somewhere warm to sleep. What was your
Thought when you realized you'll never feel naive love again. Was it pain or was it sickness? Were you proud of who you've been?
The
Choice between for his phone calls replaced by apathy. Dating apps, he felt his hands and felt like flame.
Now he's just another man. Rather he was inside and beside you.
Got it.
But he's talking out.
Marriage in the future.
He's picking a
The
lock
rock
he
doesn't go into.
His knife in a will.
It's a suture. I don't miss.
I miss the thought of what we were. This is the part where I shut up and let you infest my brain, but it's okay. It's a strategy to ensure I remain. You'll
Never
never
get rid of me. I'm like a fucking disease. I'll make a home in your gut.
Cause it's somewhere warm to sleep.
It's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
Eat my rent and eat my food and eat my juice and eat those kids. And maybe use a sextant.
I've had 2 croissants, half an energy drink. Let's see what the fuck goes wrong! I wonder if I just do this. Question comes with living. So I started university. Took a geography course to learn the deadlines and maybe use a sextant. Use prospectimally. Hello. Hi, chat. If you can tell by the title and what Ray posted in the Discord, I'm fucked up.
I'm not fucked up that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just fucked up enough that my brain is going fucking burr. And I said, I feel like it'd be funny to play Genshin High. I just made that suggestion one day. And over here now. It wasn't originally gonna be a follower goal, but well, here we are. You can all blame Jay for this. Oh yes, how's my reputation? I'm assuming... I think I know where the last one is. I think I know where that last one is. I think I know where the last one is, because I saw it pop up one day. So yeah, I have eaten 2 croissants, because Jay is not a, like, cake person. So he went to a baked goods shop nearby. I went to the wrong spot. And I have an energy drink with me right now. Why? Because I have a shit ton of things I want to get through. Swear to God, I saw the commission somewhere. You know what? For the fuck of it, let me check. I could be completely, absolutely fucking wrong. My bad. I could just be fucking wrong. Ah yes, we're about to do some extensive walking and find out where the fuck this last commission is. Birds. I am fucking out of it. I also just lied on a paper that I was just doing. I was doing like a thing I had to turn into the school and they're like, did you get this? Were you awarded this last time? I went, nope. Was not. Fucking lie. I just didn't want to fill out how it impacted me because it didn't do shit. Huh. I was wrong. Cats. A person to get on fancy. When the fuck did I put that? Yeah, to get on that boat. Oh. Again, I could have sworn someone, like, asked you here. Again, now I feel like I've been solemnly lied to. I don't mean to press that, but okay. Alright, time to go run around the chasm for a hot second. Actually. Why the fuck do I keep pressing E? That's what I want. I was like, I have the... It's the fucking mechanisms. Oh my god! Fuck. Alright, I actually know that there's another group somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's up here. Yep. I don't have the stone activated. Whoopsie. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Those are bad guys. Alright, cool. Never mind. Back up. Back up we go. swear to God I saw this commission light up somewhere. Or I found this fucking achievement. Because it's one of the last ones and I don't have it. Fuck, I sound dead inside, but now I'm just out of it. Oh. I was like, huh, what had this many in Sumeru? Those are fucking commissions. Why? I'm not doing any. I'm just walking. I am just walking looking for this fucking thing. Please get off of my dick. Thank you. Never forget the pain I went through getting those fucking flowers. I mean, I'll take the chunks. I fucking need them. Because I need to build Ayaka's preferred weapon. Damn. Get off the tree. I might as fucking well. I just accidentally stepped on my anklet, or I just rolled my knee over my anklet. I just rolled my ankle on my anklet. Fuck. I swear, I'm not gone. I still can have coherent thoughts. And I can still form a sentence. Barely. Fuck it, barely. Alright, I don't know what the fuck you're gonna want me to do, so I'm gonna wait for my stamina to come back. Oh, hey. Oh my god, goddamn. Where the fuck are the rest of them? Oh, they're there.
이 물건들의 용도는 아니다. 관심 없어.
Alright, cool. Oh, my eyes are itchy, but I'm wearing makeup now, please. I'm about to fuck up the... Damn it. Oh, that did do something. I'm pretty sure you're actually oh wait, this is how you fucking get the, this is how you open the cave. Yeah. Because then I would have, yep, that's how you get the cave. I was like, let me just go hit the shiny thing really quick. Like, let me try to blow up the very giantly shiny rock that was left by our favorite shield user. Funny enough, I actually need bird eggs, so this is just well timed. Having Shao is so funny because he's such a tiny little scrunkly boy that he just... Piece of paper. Give me the bird eggs. I was just about to say, I want no trouble, and I still don't want trouble. I'm just looking for this goddamn commission, good sir. Oh, it's you. Hey, bestie. It's funny, like, all the stuff that we put here, it's only the flower that gets the, thing. Can I pick these? Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it's like weird. It's just like, oh, like there's so much lore hidden behind story. Man really made me go on a whole hunt just to go look for some items that like half of them I had. And who the fuck is dead? I said that as a joke. I didn't mean you actually need to stop by the old people. That's all I wanted. And both my feet are asleep. That's great. This is fun. I'm having a wonderful time. Ah, fuck. My phone almost fell off my bed. I'm too late for you to look this up, but I will. Okay. Why do I feel like there's an easy way to get there? Because there fucking is. Because there fucking is. And to get over there. It's gonna be a whole adventure in itself. Thanks. Every day I forget you fucking exist. And would you look at that? I went the wrong fucking way. The fuck? Ow, you bitch. Okay, well, fuck you. I forgot you were also fucking here. And Chasm does have nice music, but I just do not have a care for it. Because fuck the Chasm. Cool. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. Never mind. They have a guide of how to get there. I'm just in a lot of pain today. Don't ask why. It's just a lot of walking and a lot of me being a dumbass. Sorry, motherfucker. Also, I fixed my phone. I never noticed this here. Where's Beto? Ah, Beto is one of my only. Beto is like one of my like only partially built or like kind of built claymores. Interesting. Give me that.
좋아. 모처럼 방해하지 마. 주술, 윤력, 칭. 부탁해.
No, get your ass back over here. No, do not get your shit. There we go. Oh my god, they're gonna spawn another one.
접촉 금지.
Of course, everything has to fucking despawn at the wrong time.
주술, 윤력, 칭.
No.
가자.
No. Get off.
반드시 버려.
Fuck.
비명을 지르거라. 무능하군. 여기다.
Where the fuck did she go?
무능하군.
Of course.
금방 따라갈게요.
No, it's not my problem.
다음으로 해야 할 일.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever done the one thing with the sister, with the Abyss sister. I don't think I ever did that.
금방
Okay. What happened to you? Who messed you up? It's in the literal sense of that hey, I'm high on my fucking mind. There's a way to enter this fucking tree. So I am just very much out of it. No one beat the ever loving shit out of me. Oh! Right before Thanksgiving? It was Jay's birthday. This man gets a free pass. Oh! Do you want to know what this motherfucker did? Do you want to know what this motherfucker did? This motherfucker tricked me into buying myself food. No, in all seriousness, where the fuck is this workbench? I'm going to abuse this shit. Oh! 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 Found it! Hello! Why is Instagram so fucking active? Okay, so I was hanging out with Jay, Ray, and all of them because most of them, actually all of them are in town for Thanksgiving. Whoa, okay. So. I don't care, I just got the notification. So, me and him, and a couple of others, go to the mall to get food because it's super convenient, it's right there, and it's all just near a bunch of areas because we're gonna go to another place to go get dessert because he's not a big, like, celebration, get me a cake and all that shit. So, what do? He gets a chicken and shrimp teriyaki thing. Keep that in mind. Shrimp and chicken. The most important goddamn detail of the story. And again, I stole some of it because I don't want to get a full meal because we're literally gonna get dessert right after this. And so he gives it to me to carry. Like, he gives me back. He's like, "Oh, here you go. You can you carry this for me?" And as we're getting to leave, I'm talking to Atlas for a hot second because I was just like, yeah, like we can push off all the plans to this weekend because we know that, like, tomorrow's gonna be busy, so we can just all meet up on the weekend and have, like, a big celebration thing, yada yada yada. And he goes, "Oh, what's in the bag?" And I say, "Oh, it's shrimp, it's Jay's teriyaki." This man goes, "Jay doesn't like shrimp." This motherfucker bought food for himself just to give it to me at the end of the day. I bought this man food so that he could give it to me at the end of the day. He did not buy shit! So I have leftover chicken and shrimp teriyaki. I hate this man. I hate him. I hate him. I hate this man. This man tricked my own self. He's straight upset. He knew my weakness. He knew my weakness. How the fuck do I get out of here? Use my weakness to his advantage. He was like, "Oh, you don't like buying things for yourself? Fuck you." No, these are the adorable ones, you fuck!
칭령. 경솔했어. 율령. 칭령.
소용없어.
방해하지 마세요. 주술. 율령. 칭령. 어우.
You are still alive? Not anymore. Oh, for sure not anymore.
주술.
So much is happening.
칭령.
What the fuck?
지루해.
Oh, motherfucker. Are you okay? Are you okay? This motherfucker's not okay. He is not okay in the slightest. Yeah, Jay tricked me into it. Also, we went to Barnes and Nobles, and there was a book I wanted that they had like on a shelf, but I didn't know if we didn't know if we were allowed to take a copy. So we kind of just left it there until another day. Cause again, we're gonna go out and like actually like celebrate everything on this weekend. So it's probably gonna be Sunday and Monday. We're going on a trip to meet some new people, zooming through the place. Hey, bestie, I got a friend. I keep hitting E! This is literally my last fucking thing I have to do. Hey, yo, this motherfucker was presumed dead? He looks so dead inside. Also, his skin is so much more, like, gray. Sorry that advantage for skin speed. Huh? The fuck do you mean, bleeding profusely? Actually, wait, where's the cave? Speaking of, I'm in the chasm. Where's the cave that leads you into Sumeru? Tripping those back and everything? Why? What the fuck? He's fine though? Okay, that's all that matters. Yeah, so Jay basically tricked me into getting myself food because I bought him food, and then I found out he bought food that he's not a big fan of, that he just gave to me. Acting Gober. That explains a lot. How are you able to stumble upon particular events? If I knew, I would tell you. So yeah, so there's leftover chicken and shrimp teriyaki in our fridge. Also, I probably should not be drinking an energy drink at 7:30 o'clock at night, but fuck it, I ball. I'm gonna crash after this. I'm going to go into the best sleep of my goddamn life. You're gonna stay up too late? Energy drinks are the opposite to me. They make me fucking tired. So every time you see me drinking one, I'm trying to go to sleep. They'll give me like that spike of energy, and then I will just be like gone for the rest of the day. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. I'm here just to have 100% fucking, good sir, I'm here only to have 100% in the fucking, in the quest in Liyue. That's all I want. Thank you! We done! Oh my god, I'm almost about to hit 55. I did not sign up for this. You. See, I thought I got rid of you. Why did I hear a scream? But apparently, I did not get rid of you, even though I've walked by this so many... I'm 100% certain. I do not remember the way to get... Yes, I do. There it is. I'm about to say, I probably do not remember how the fuck to get up here. But fuck it. We ball. I hate the chasm. So do I. But I've sadly learned to accept it. No, there's... This is bringing back a memory. I'll go back to the area. But there is an area in the chasm that me, Atlas, and Ray climbed. That you are not supposed to climb. And we unlocked an area that I don't think we were supposed to find. Hello. See, it's so peaceful here. See, everyone thought this was a part of Sumeru, which I can no, it's in the different direction. Yeah, because assuming... Yeah, it's somewhere around here, presumably, or it's more downish. Yeah, this is just a pretty area to come to. Because it's so peaceful. Also, there's like a big ass Dendro slime you have to fight here. I'll take it. But yeah, fuck the chasm. It's one of the few areas in the game that I actually do not actively explore, even though it has like 90% something. But this is just one of my favorite areas to come to because of how pretty it is. But yeah. Let me show you the area I've climbed. As you saw part of my channel, easy play. Is there any other recommendations? Hazo, I would definitely do a Scaramouche one because the God damn it, I have a thing for the Anima Boys. I know I have a thing for the Anima Boys. No one needs to say shit. Scaramouche because the boy is coming. Also, spoiler alerts up ahead. We get to name him! We get to name Scaramouche! I've never felt more joy in my life than finding out we can name Scaramouche. Get the fuck out of here! This is not helping my injury. I hurt my wrist earlier. What? We got to name Scaramouche. We got to name him in the story. His entire... Okay. Okay, if you like Genshin and you're on Genshin's side of TikTok, beware. His entire story quest got leaked, and there's a section where we get to name him. That is not a lie. I am not lying. Shut the fuck up, Cryo bitch. Let me actually get to it. We get to name him. So me and Rain now just have a whole list of names. I don't like story quest leaks, but I do like hearing that. That is like the only thing I will say because frankly I don't want to spoil it a lot, but hello, it's the last time we get to see him in his Fatui outfit. And then it is also, yeah, there's also a bunch of just different stuff. Fuck, I missed the one thing I need to... The fuck? Yeah, we climbed this. We climbed this entire thing. Do not ask us how long it took us. But yeah, we climbed that. We did it without a Zhongli too. We did it purely with a shit ton of Venti.
여기다.
I think we did it with a Venti, a Xiao, and I think a Hu Tao. If I remember correctly. Yeah, that was an experience itself. Wiki, stop giving me a fucking ad. What? I need one more. I need one more and I don't know which ones I've killed or not. We're going on an adventure, chat! Why are you putting me in light mode? The fuck is this? Settings. Put my ass in fucking light mode. Take me out of light mode. Parents device scene? Dark! You bitch! Don't fucking blind my ass. This one I've done. Oh, I've known I've killed him. Good sir, why the fuck is your ping 200? Yeah, that was a fun thing to fucking discover. Yeah, I was just going through TikTok, minding my fucking business. Why the fuck are you back? I swear to God, I got rid of you. Please don't. Ow! Oh. No. Cool. I'm in the completely wrong area. Fuck me!
Homo?
Yeah, that makes sense. Woo! Suck my dick. Oh yeah, I'm in the completely wrong way. Oh. Yeah, I'm in the completely wrong spot. My bad. We're going on a trip to see if I did any of this shit right. Leave me alone. Please don't wake up. Please don't wake up. Please don't wake up. You know what, just for the hell. I don't know if I have or not. We're about to. Oh my god. Yeah, I probably have stabbed you about a good 100 times, but you're right, I don't belong here. You are not the one I need. Alright, round, whatever. The next one. Oh my god, I got an ad. I forgot to turn on my ad blocker. I mean, what? Why should I have some default animation? He's just a strunkly little guy. I don't think I've stabbed this guy. I mean, he did learn from the best. Oh, yeah. I think I found the last guy. Yeah, I found the last guy. Now, how do I get there? Okay. I know how to get there. Here's a glass. Glass of just delicious. Yeah, no, his fucking animations are so ah! Why? You a bitch! I didn't do anything. Look, I just came here to stab a guy, okay? I came here to get an orb and stab a bitch. That's all I need to do. Now, where the fuck do I go from there? I told you once again, do this again. We're going over here. You're welcome. I'm giving you guys free shit. I was supposed to do other things, but Brain said we do in the chasm. I don't have a care for you right now. Ah! Look, he's just a scrunkly little boy. That was close. I should have mentioned there's been times where I'm so out of it that I'm pretty sure I've actually thrown off Xiao off a cliff like 7 times. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Hello! I'm here to fuck up your day!
주술, 식량. 부탁해.
Hold that for me. Ow! Fuck!
얼음과 서리가 되어.
Imagine this is not the one. I will actually be severely disappointed in myself. Ah! I see the charge attack.
주술.
I missed! Hey, friend! Ah! Oh boy. Oh! You have a whip, good sir.
접촉 금지.
I saw that. I saw that weapon ideal. You're not? Damn, I'm just stabbing people for fun now. Okay. Poor boy. It's called I was just feeling a little bit I was just feeling a little bit spicy. I've fought this one before. Have I fought you before? We're gonna go see. Nap time. Because again, I have a very shit memory. So I don't know if I fought these guys before or not. But so far, we're on number 4. Why? Why? I hate him. Leave me the fuck alone. I have never felt hatred towards a motherfucker in my life than compared to this motherfucker. I have 100% stabbed you before. Where the fuck are you? Hey, friend.
윤력, 주술, 윤력.
You know what? We're gonna test my theory out anyways. I don't fully know if I stabbed you before.
얼음과 서리가 되어.
Haha.
식량.
I have. Cool. This gives me just free time to level that up. Okay. I've stabbed you. Again, I don't mean to do it on purpose. I'll just be vibing and all of a sudden I'll just accidentally fucking shank him. Oh, hey, it's the upside down one. I've 100% shanked him. Y'all want to go on we're going on an adventure. It's just stabbing bitches day today. Y'all remember when this first got introduced and everyone lost their shit? Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've 100% shanked this guy before. But, it's good for farming materials that I'm not even sure I need. Hello! Fuck!
접촉 금지. 윤력. 주술. 윤력. 걱정 마.
I am going to actually be so angry with myself if he's the one motherfucker I did not end up stabbing beforehand. Cool. I did shank him. Perfect. Next one. I'm telling you, I have a shit-ass memory. I don't remember who I have killed or not. I can tell you I know the first one that it shows on this list I have. Why? Because this motherfucker I've stabbed so many times. Found which ones I haven't stabbed. Because it's 3 motherfuckers. Also, fuck that thing. I have not. Interesting development. Lead me, silly. Yep, they're behind that wall. Alright. Found them. Again, I don't mean to actually throw my son off a cliff. It just sometimes happens. Good sir, I'm not in the mood for your antics, and I will shank your ass. Oh, this is about to be fun. You know what? Let me be a little shit. Ooh. Oh, yeah, especially with the flames. Fuck you! Let's go! I was like, why is my boy not critting? Because these motherfuckers are painful. I'm gonna be so angry with myself if I find out. Okay, cool. I was about to be like, if you are not the one motherfucker, who did I stab beforehand? You whore. You whore. You bitch ass motherfucker. Also, Shao already has his thing back. Oh, hey, thanks.
품질은 나쁘지 않군.
Oh, hell yeah, and a cave. Okay. Now, where the fuck is the location? Locked gate in a nameless ruin. You bitch. You whore. You motherfucker. You bitch ass. Going on a trip.
소용없어.
Forever one of my favorite things to fucking do. Why did the bell go off? Oh no. Ah. Why the fuck is the bell going off? Again, I love the story behind the chasm, but fuck, I did not come here to be emotionally broken. There it is. Why? Hello? What?
이 물건들의 용도는 아니다. 너한테 쓸모가 있다면 됐어.
There you go. I basically just gave you guys some beautiful free money. Who the fuck has a thing here? Who has a quest? I was like, I'm pretty sure. No. Why? What do you want? I did everything. The chasm's still a pretty dangerous place. Motherfucker, we literally just killed a false god. Speaking of, I need to actually go very quickly go shank Scaramouche. And then I also need to go shank Child. Yeah, why the fuck did the bell ring? It's not supposed to ring. Did someone die? Did the pastor die? So, Captain, let's make a deal where we both. I'm not. Paimon, shut the fuck up! I'm not looking for this fucking doll. I don't care. I already came what I came down here for. Also, would you, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Also, If you like to see the Scaramouche funds. I have 31. I'm 91 wishes, bitch! This motherfucker isn't even guaranteed. This motherfucker's not guaranteed. But hopefully Mahoyoverse, hopefully, will give me some luck since he's coming out on my birthday. So please, game, spare me. Oh my god. What the fuck was I planning on doing next? Right. That. So either this man is coming home, or I'm losing this 50-50, I'm fighting my Hoyoverse my damn self. That was a nice nut crack. How the fuck did I clear out that game? Hello, Catherine. Excuse me? Look at it! I did it! 52 out of 52 completed. I did my job. I don't have to step foot here ever fucking again. I'm kidding. Nah. I'm gonna do this real fast. I would never. Yes, I know about their big chest. No, I have not collected all 70 fucking 2 of them. I'm getting there. I frankly do not have the fucking patience to look for all of them.
축제를 열고 싶니?
So Captain, let's make a deal where we... Oh. Actually, I didn't mean to equip that. I meant to equip this. Sorry, Yanni, you're taking some damage.
방해하지 마세요. 주술, 윤력. 걱정 마. 불 조심해. 얼음과 서리가 돼요.
Ow! I was about to be like, I'm somehow amazed I'm dodging these.
칭령, 주술. 축제 재현. 슬슬 끝내도 되겠군요.
Oh, I'm using everyone's.
솟구쳐라. 윤력, 주술, 윤력.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
내정.
The fucking bitch moved.
방해하지 마세요. 걱정 마. 주술, 칭령, 주술. 불꽃놀이가 보고 싶어? 접촉 금지. 다음으로 해야 할 일은 에너지 충전이 필요해요.
Fucking health do you have? My god! Okay, game, please. Give me no more Anemo Immune, please. And fucking thank you. Please. For the love of God. That's gonna be fun. I love seeing the fucking invulnerable Geo ones, because I'm just like, I don't even have a Geo character fully fucking built.
부름을 듣고 왔다.
Take your fucking apples, bitch. Oh, that's right. I need to go stab, I need to go stab Child and Scaramouche really fast.
운동은 필수이죠.
The fuck? You're telling me I fell through this tiny ass gap? Kokomi, who has an unnecessarily large amount of healing. It's not. Scaramouche is so I'm okay with it.
좀 쉬어.
Okay, yeah, I need to give more healing to Kokomi. Which is a sentence I never thought I would have to say out loud. Please tell me you give me an easy teleport. Cool. Time to bring out the climby boy. Cause why? We go into the very top because there's a thing here. Her thing is so fucking pretty. Fuck whatever the fellas is gonna do. I'm up here anyways. That's pretty. Shit. Where's the bird? No, thank you. Fuck you. I live to spite God. Ah, yes, good sir. There's a bird I'm supposed to see that I have to make fly away so I can stay on top for an achievement. Where is he? Good game. Where's the bird? I never thought I'd be asking where the fuck a bird is. But here we are. I'm about to lose my mind. Where the fuck is this bird? Oh yes, no one question why the traveler is, you know, just flying above you. Don't question it. Nope, okay. Never mind. She has a... Holy shit, why is there so many people outside? I looked, all of a sudden, I'm just seeing a crowd of people. Why are you here?
걱정 마. 윤력, 주술, 칭력. 방해하지 마세요.
소용없어. 지루해. 사라져라. 무능하군. 여기다. 여기다. 무능하군.
I'm gonna be honest, she was not in range of that one hit.
여기다. 무능하군.
얼음과 사계가 돼요.
Oh my god! Shit! Okay. Damn! I'm gonna be honest, that was a murder. The bitch is fucking dead. Bitch is fucking gone. She ain't coming back. She fucking dead. Give me that. I have one more to go do. Oh, it's immune to cryo. Of course it is. I will come back. Need to go shank this guy really quickly. Hello! My foot slid off my chair. Ow! He ain't built, but I don't care. Man's kind of just here. Man's here just to deal with my shit. Hey, bitch! I'm back!
금방 따라갈게요.
이것은 신을 위한
Fuck, of course it's hot.
한숨이다.
Of course it's hot! Hold that for me.
소용돌이 회전하라.
Oh. Oh no.
벌레 같구나.
Fuck. I need to get out of the way. I need to move now. Oh! Okay, cool.
이게 하늘의 이치다.
유리처럼 흩날려라.
신성 모두 대세다.
Oh, I can and I fucking will. I'm a little shit.
네가
Fuck, I don't have enough.
자리는 없다.
Fuck, I don't have enough. Ah! Fuck. No, what the fish can handle it. Come on, what's the next one?
열망하라.
Haha. Woo!
무력한 범중이군.
No, fuck! Woo! Oh my god, that is a fucking blessing. Is that shit lit up? Yes, the fuck it is! Get down. Get your ass down now. How powerful is your head? Shield's down. Woo! Now go back down, bitch. Activate the other one? I don't care.
난 이곳 하늘의 이치가 진군한다.
Take a very angry fit. Woo! Come on.
윤회 없고.
I've learned how to do your shit, bitch.
무능한 벌레 같구나.
Yeah, fuck it. Might as well.
무력한 범중이군.
Again, don't question me how the fuck I learned how to do all this shit. It took so many fucking tries to figure out how to kill this.
비명을
Fuck!
지르라.
You know what?
여기다. 무능하군.
I meant to do Ganyu's.
여기다. 무능하군. 여기다.
No, fuck you. I'll still do it on you. Damn it.
네가 설 자리는 없다.
Oh, this is gonna hurt! It's fine, the fish can handle it. You're supposed to do that one. Why is the fish almost dead? Woo! The fish is alive, but barely!
실책이야.
The fish is alive, but barely! Wait, shit, come on. This heals.
소용돌이 회전하라.
The fish needs healing. Come on. Alright. This is basically running around. Ow! Alright, I'm safe over here. I'm not I'm safe over here. Yes, the fuck I am. Why have I developed a venti laugh? You know, the fish is gonna be a sacrifice for a while. Ah! Ah! Ow! Ah! Don't care, I'm taking it. You bitch! You fucking moved. Oh, I'm gonna die. Hey, Zhongli, you wanna keep the fish alive for a little bit? Fuck. Oh shit. Take it. Okay, never mind. We're gonna be in a world of pain for a hot second. Okay, okay. No. Come on.
슬슬 끝내도 되겠군요.
Oh my god. Why is he doing 28? Kill him. 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 He got a hair! He has a hair left. There we go. I was like, motherfucker got a hair left. Motherfucker got a sliver. Yeah, what I needed. That's what I needed. Ooh, don't need that. Oh, it gave me the bell. That's what I need for him. Yes! The game is satisfying me. They said, oh, you farming? Here you go. How much health does she have? She has 1,000 health. I'm so sorry, my love. No. My poor baby. My poor baby. She somehow is like unnaturally the only one I have somewhat built to destroy those things. So my girl just gets the full, just pain. Hello. I see you. Okay. He's the next one I need to go shake. I'm going to fundamentally break something. It was fixed. You were fucking fixed.
여기에 오신 이유를 설명하십시오.
If I have to say this one more fucking time, I'm going to scream. I'm going home the 16th. Why the... People annoy me. Are you fundamentally fucking kidding me?
여기에 오신 이유를 설명하십시오.
Yes. My phone's actually about to break. Or I'm about to throw it.
여기에 오신 이유를 설명하십시오.
I really wish I hit the wall. I really wish I hit the wall.
이제야 내가 생각.
이런 기회 흔치 않아. 날 좀 재밌게 해봐. 항복도 괜찮은 선택이라고 할 수 있지. 선량하게 대해줄 테니 걱정 마. 여기다. 나쁘지 않아?
Oh my god. He went fucking flying. Come on. Come on.
무능하군. 여기다.
Woohoo.
주술.
You missed.
식량. 응? 좀 쉬어.
숨기만 할 거야?
얼음과 서리가 돼.
꽝나를 키스 소용없어.
Oh, that says illusion unleashed.
해야 할 일은
잡았다.
주술. 식량.
Yeah, you still a bitch who can't hit me properly. I should shut the fuck up. You bitch! When did he have a shield?
윤력. 주술. 윤력.
Now come on, get in center. Don't be a bitch. Oh shit, Gani's dead. My bad. I need to shut the fuck up. Poor baby, Gani's dead. Eh, it's fine. I can do without her.
식량. 윤력.
I was like, I already put Gani through so much shit already. Bitch needs a break.
무능하군. 여기다. 무능하군. 무능하군.
Again, this is his normal damage. I don't know where the fuck he all of a sudden started doing like.
주술. 식량. 주술.
소용없어. 소용없어.
Yeah, fuck it. Ah, fuck! I clicked off the game!
식량. 윤력. 주술.
Damn it.
좀 더 버텨야.
Sorry, girlie.
좀 쉬어.
Oh, fuck! Oh, no. Oh, no! me. I broke the game. What? I don't care. I don't care. Fuck me. I don't care. I will fucking go all the way back. I will hear you. I will heal you in a second, Ganyu.
별거하시면
Hi, Catherine. I'm here for this shit. Absolutely the fuck not. You're going to have to drag my happy ass to fucking hell. Cause I'm pretty sure. No, absolutely not. No, no. Oh, would you look at that? I was about to say, I swear to God, if it's a debate club, I'm gonna scream. It's not Thanksgiving. I just casually beat the shit out of all my electronics. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh my god.
내가
The funds. The Scaramouche funds are spicy. Run. Run away from the commission. Actually, wait. Shit. I might have to do those because of Scaramouche's story. Hold up. How many do I have? I have one key. I have one key. I don't gotta do shit. I'm calling the mother. We're gonna see if this works. Ah! I figured.
한 수 가르쳐 주세요. 캬? 이 행운 소중히 간직할게요. 아? 아?
마물은 비가 온다고 쉬지 않아. 움직이자.
일할 시간이 됐나요? 칭령, 주술. 칭령, 주술, 윤령.
주술, 윤력, 칭령. 접촉 금지. 헷. 금방 따라갈게요. 헷. 윤력. 방해하지 마세요. 주술, 칭령, 윤력. 금방 따라갈게요. 칭령. 응? 금방 따라갈게요. 헷. 윤력 부탁해.
소용없어.
주술 칭령 주술 걱정 마. 같이 놀자. 우후 윤력 칭령 기폭지 전파.
지루해.
슝! 불꽃놀이가 보고 싶어? 야!
일할 시간이 됐나요? 좀 쉬어.
사라져라. 여기다. 여기다.
다음으로
지루해.
윤력, 주술, 윤력. 걱정 마. 금방 따라갈게요. 별과 심연을 향해 오늘의 의뢰를 완성해줘서 앉아서 같이.
주전자 속 성경. 앉아서 같이.
I'm free. Sorry. I know that was a very long phone call, but yada yada yada. Shit happened. Oh, good sir, you are not going to be able to turn. Sorry, I just saw a truck turn to a very stupid area. Yeah, I'm back. I'm just looking at things. Okay. So, with all of this, I can create a lot. Okay. But I know where to get a shit ton of that wood. You want to? We're gonna go very quickly fucking wood farming.
앉아서 같이 찬.
Hi. How close are you? Holy shit. That's what happens when you do a me and you fuck around and find out. Okay. What else have I not made that's from Sumeru shit? Oh god, you all just need a shit ton of wood. Cut from forest and I actually know where to go for that. Cut from forest and Sumeru. You just need other things. What do you need? Is that Sumeru? Starfell. Fuck! Of course it's Starfell Valley. Fucking cherry trees, goddammit. Okay.
주전자 속 성경.
First of all, wood farming. Also, we're gonna go see my boy. We're gonna go see the best boy in this game. Yeah, I wanna go see best boy. We're seeing best boy. Best boy. Best boy, best boy. It's daytime, so we won't be able to see him in his full glory. It's the best boy! Hi. He's not even a character. He is just best fucking boy. Yeah, so welcome to Wood Farming Simulator. How's everyone's day? I'm so sorry I was gone for so long. But it's called That Was a Bunch of Shit. She actually did not mean to do that. I meant to break everything else but that. Also, have I mentioned what the plan is? What me and my friends' plan is to summon for Scaramouche? We're gonna get into a co-op game and summon for this man. We're gonna do it off stream. Because I know fucking Akira's about to blow off everything. He's about to blow off some money for a birthday gift. But yeah, there is also one more enemy I need to stab. Oh, I need to go stab Raiden. Oh my god. Oh my god. See, welcome to the wood glitch, where you can just run around this circle about 50 fucking times and get wood. Yeah, we love this area. I love Artie getting 100-something wood. My god, okay. No, I'm gonna make this 10 times- fuck. I didn't mean to do that. I'm about to make this 10 times cuter. Yes, I have a set time for this to be cute. My child! My child! My boy! He's so fucking cute. I love him. He's just my little skunkly. But okay. I need to very quickly go stab Raiden. I swear, Gani's not gonna die. When the fuck did I get this? Oh. That's not enough, that's not enough. I also do need to go hunting for some of those electro sigils. Not 90. Not yet.
식량, 윤력, 주술. 좀 한결이 내려졌다. 속셈은 그림자와 같지. 접촉 금지. 가스로. 통로. 식량, 주술, 윤력.
There was a day I got this right first try. I wasn't streaming and I was genuinely impressed with myself. Oh hey! Hey bitch!
방해하지 마세요. 주술, 식량.
나자의 춤. 여기다.
한결이 내려졌다. 속셈은 그림자와 같지.
무능하군. 여기다.
Again, he'll get this back. Oh shit.
천하가 고요하리.
Shit. Shit.
접촉 금지.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
우리 영혼
Oh shit! Hey bestie! Gani's only has fuck! I was about to say I swear I'm not gonna kill Ganyu. Bitch, bestie only got 12 health!
윤력, 주술, 윤력.
Bring her back! We need her!
금연하라. 칭령, 윤력, 주술.
Talk to your wife, goddammit!
그 끝은 만겁일지.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
걱정 마.
Good, I can heal her.
감옥으로 만들어진 칭령, 윤력, 칭령. 천수의 속박.
Okay. Fuck! I'm gonna get that one day. God damn it.
지루해.
좀 쉬어. 방해는 모두 폐기물.
Not murder my son, please.
감옥으로 만들어주지. 방으로 해야 할 일은. 방해는 모두 폐기물.
소용없어.
어리석은. 어른과
There we go.
칭령, 윤력. 부탁해. 유리처럼 흩날려라.
비명을 지르거라. 무능하군. 무능하군. 여기다.
Ah, you bitch. I just need to do this next time. I just need to bring this man's, like...
갈수록 슬슬 끝내지. 칭령, 윤력, 주술. 너무 느리군. 번개와 함께
Hey, bitch.
흙으로 돌아가라. 가시화수 접촉 금지. 이 눈으로 속세를 꿰뚫어보리. 칭령, 주술, 칭령. 방해하지 마세요.
지루해.
Yeah, I was about to, like...
내 관이 영혼의
Oh my god. Please, no.
너무 느리군. 윤력, 주술, 칭령. 가자.
소용없어.
God damn! You a bitch!
영원이다.
Fuck me!
방해는 모두 폐기입니다. 감옥으로
Take her out, bitch.
만들어주지. 돌려라.
Fuck me!
걱정 마.
This bitch!
방해는 모두 폐기입니다. 주술, 칭령. 핫. 단절.
지루해.
Damn, I swear I'm not usually this bad at this fight, but fuck! I swear I'm not this bad! Fuck!
그 끝은 만겁일지.
Fucking love. Nico's just like, nah. This is such a cool ass effect though. Ow! You whore.
윤력. 좀
Stop
쉬어.
attacking your wife, you bitch.
천수의 속박.
소용없어.
Son of a bitch. If I did not get hit by that one random one, I would have made it.
칭령. 윤력.
소용없어.
어리석은. 금연하라. 부탁해.
방해하지 마세요.
소용없어. 나자의 춤. 여기다. 무능하군.
Okay, what happened to the critting?
여기다.
There it is. I just have to bitch about this man not critting and it crits.
숨을 곳은 없다.
I swear I love my son, but fuck.
식량, 주술, 접촉 금지. 걱정 마. 끊는지 너무 느리군. 번개와 함께 흙으로 돌아가라. 숨을 곳은 없다. 윤력, 주술. 응? 빈눈 방해하지 속세를 꿰뚫어보리.
날 방해하지
Shit, okay.
왔구나.
내 광이 영혼의 땅을 새치는구나. 얼음과 뜻.
Fuck you.
이 몸이 곧 영혼이다.
Oh my god, we're back here again.
식량. 좀 현혹으로 만들어주지. 그 끝은 망가님 찾아갈게요.
Ah, that one. I was like, wait, why does it look like I'm getting a random, like, electro? It's that one fucking.
단장.
She's like that. She's like the fucking Thundering Manifesto bird. I swear to God, I'm not this bad at this fight. I swear to God, I'm not.
천수의 속박.
Okay. Please. Please. I just want one day I can beat that.
사자 감옥으로 만주술 식량.
Fuck!
단장.
Get your ass down!
소용없어. 사라져라. 무능하군.
그 무엇도
Fuck!
영원한 것은 없다.
This is gonna give me shit. Oh. It's still shit, but goddamn. Pretty sure that's what Miko needs. Again, I swear, I'm not bad at that fight. Somehow when I stream, I somehow become 50 times worse at everything at this game. Let's pray to God this is above ground. Thank God. Kitties. 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 Please don't. Bad kitties! Leave me alone, please. Leave me alone. Why have you forsaken me? Hold up, pits up. Hello? Oh, son of a bitch. I fucking switched the wrong one. Oh no, I'm guessing.
윤력, 주술, 윤력. 좀 쉬어.
Fuck, he doesn't have it.
괜찮아 죽겠네. 응? 윤력. 가자.
나자의 춤. 여기다. 무능하군.
I should have brought out Cosmo for that. But alright, it's actually a good thing I brought that out. You know what, fuck it, because I'm gonna forget I have a chest here.
주술.
Oh! Fuck me!
걱정 마.
I need you out of this immediately. Please! Fucking kill him!
접촉 금지. 주술.
Now you are now my #1 priority.
좀 쉬어. 칭령. 어른과 서리가.
Oh, fuck. Welcome to ADHD brain.
너한테 쓸모가 있다면 됐어.
I need to read these before I go cold fucking clicking on it like a bitch. Is that Aranara music? No, it's a fucking bitch. Yes, it's Aranara music. I don't even know what number this fucker is. I don't know. No, those are the fungus I need to kill. But this is more important right now. There we go.
이 물건들의 용도는
I honestly love how so much of this game actually revolves around like the Aranara. I'll take the extra wood. Alright, now it's time to slap the fungus.
윤력. 걱정 마.
Oh, of course some of you fucks fly.
강하지 마.
Hold that for me, please.
주술.
I thought it was safe,
칭령. 윤.
but no.
부탁해.
Thought it was safe, but no. They bring out these motherfuckers.
사라져라. 여기다. 무능하군.
칭령. 윤령. 주술. 접촉 금지.
This is what I like to call
지루해.
I can
소용없어.
fuck around and find out with this area. Do not even think about it.
방해하지 마세요. 칭령. 주술.
I need your ass to get off the count. Goodbye.
너한테 쓸모가 있다면 됐어.
Life is one never-ending carnival. Yeah, I will forever say this. Standard Banner hates my ass. Why do I have 10,000 wishes? It's because I'm a fucking whale, but we don't talk about that. Fuck. Well, I know I got a chest out of it, but like... Damn. Alright. Now it's just exploring. I'll do my last reputation after stream, but fuck me. The fuck is this? Why does this look terrifying? I've fucking been here already. Yep. That was part of the Arnara quest. Which is a very painful fucking quest. I do not trust you. I do not fucking trust you. Fuck you!
칭령. 주술.
소용없어. 지루해. 나자의 춤.
I've used his burst so fucking often recently.
여기다. 여기다.
Oh, you a bitch ass motherfucker. You bitch.
보물 상자를 남긴 사람도 어떤 계약을
think this is the second one of that I've done. So we'll see what the fuck this does in the coming future. Who knows? I'm gonna get my shit kicked, aren't I? This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna fucking die one of these days. I need to fucking build Miko more. I found out that she's a 2-piece Shinawa and fucking 2-piece Thundering bitch. Wait. What artifacts do you have written? I was like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's a better piece for her. Oh! That's not... I was about to say some shit. I was about to say the most out-of-pocket thing ever. That's not her. She's in the desert only, I think. There it is.
칭량, 윤량, 칭량.
Hey.
윤량, 주술, 칭량. 얼음과 서리가 걱정 마.
Alright, there we go. Why the hell are you right there? Have it. Shit.
접촉 금지. 주술, 칭량, 윤량. 가자.
Okay. Okay. Damn it, come on.
주술.
Why the fuck are you still alive?
윤량, 주술, 윤량. 강무로 해야 돼. 좀 쉬어. 주술, 윤량, 칭량.
I don't know where the fuck he going.
얼음과 서리가 돼요.
More, stay out of this. Okay, not for the fun shit. Sorry for the late intervention, but back. Why didn't you take the shrimp and chicken tenders? He didn't take them! Because he... Why didn't chicky tendies? Because this motherfucker... Why? Because he found out that I like them. Because I like recently have developed a liking for shrimp and chicken, like teriyaki. It's one of those things that I just like getting. Because I just like getting both of them. Because like I'm a shrimp and chicken. So he figured out that if... Okay, hello. So he found out that if he also tricks me into buying it for him, that he could give it to me and I won't feel bad. So this motherfucker basically tricked my brain into buying him food. Oh hey, you're here now. Oh my god. There's so much happening. So yeah, he's just basically like, here, I know you like them. I'm gonna trick you into buying them for me, even though it's just gonna be for you. And man straight up said, I've tricked the system. He tricked the system I didn't even know needed tricking. Fuck off! Get the fuck out of here! Jay is a madman. Why? You were Let me breathe! Fuck! He cheated his way though. He did, but it worked out. Because it's funny because everyone's like, well, like, why didn't you like get any? I was not hungry. We were literally gonna get dessert afterwards. Like, that was the plan. Like, he was just like, let's get food before we get dessert. So that it's like, you know, we can build up. This motherfucker tricked his way through because I was not hungry up until afterwards. I stole like 2 things. I stole like 2 things of shrimp. Yeah, now I have leftovers. Also, I gotta use the bathroom real fast. I just realized I've not used the bathroom this entire stream. So let me go pee. My foot's asleep. I have to drag it. No, he cheated the system. I didn't even know he cheated. Ah, fuck.
황야에 고독한 영혼, 날 해칠 생각은 버려.
Yeah, no, it was very funny when Atlas just went, he doesn't like shrimp. I lost my shit. I gotta drag my foot. Fuck me. This is actually a struggle.
내가 언제부터 이렇게 한가해진 거지? 우습군.
door or the stall because my foot hurt that badly. My foot hurt that badly. He tampered your inner logic, which was a craving. Nah, he tampered. He loopholed my inner trauma. He was just like, oh, your love language is gift giving. Bet. Because I hate this about myself, and I'm working on it, but I have the hardest time, like, F'd up. No, my foot was asleep. My foot was just straight up just, like, asleep where it hurt to move. I do have popcorn. Sorry, I'm also gonna snack a leftover popcorn. Because I'm hungry, but I don't want my leftovers. So, I have the hardest time, like, buying things for myself if they're not, like, needed. So it's like, I cannot buy, like, really expensive clothes for myself. But, this motherfucker just straight up said, you had the case of the Genshin. Possibly. Fuck. So he was just basically like, I'm gonna trick you into being selfish to your, like, being selfish. And it worked. I didn't feel bad. Give me the last commission. Any plans for Thanksgiving? Literally gonna go hang out with Atlas and them. Okay, so my plan is I'm leaving in the morning, and I'm like spending like Thanksgiving lunch with them, because we have a lot more plans for the weekend because we know like everything's gonna be closed. So all of our like Thanksgiving plans are gonna be pushed to the weekend because it just makes better sense. I'm basically spending it with everyone from Twitch. So literally, Wayward and her partner are here. V is here, not V, you know. Ray's brother, Ray, and then Jay and Atlas. Oh, hold my phone. Oh my god. It's basically just a friend's Thanksgiving. I wish it was B, you know? No, I think it's hilarious, because I recently just noticed this. Fucking virtually Nyx and V dipped off the edge of the planet around the same time. And it's just like, ah yes, my streamers, they have left me. My comfort streamers have left me. What am I supposed to do? Ah! They've left me alone to my own devices. Thank you for the stream being my inner darkness. Nah, I will forever laugh the fact that like I dipped off the edge of the planet just because college got in the way. But like I would still like just come in and out. But then October basically slapped the shit out of me and said mental health? Bitch, she ain't here. You dealing with shit? Fuck you. Back up. I love just being able to snipe the head of these things. sorry, did you just fucking heal? I don't fucking think so, bitch!
여기다.
Why was that not working?
무능하군. 여기다.
Nah, stay down.
무능하군.
I've used this man's burst more than I've ever used it in a day.
칭령, 윤령.
Nah, you can stay down.
불꽃놀이가 보고 싶어?
Stay the fuck down.
이거 뭐야?
Thank God. Nah, but when I tell you October beat the ever-loving shit out of me, October beat the ever-loving shit out of me. I have not had so much shit happen back to back to back in the span of a couple of hours. Time to go. Time to go. How long do you think you can spam until the arthritis hits? It's already hitting in my other hand. Now, funny enough, I'm already having like hand issues, which I know is like a thing of my insomnia, because there's a pressure point on your hand that leads to insomnia, which has been really tight on both my hands. Which I think is absolutely hilarious. You're almost there, bestie. You're almost there. That's pretty fucked up. I know, the amount of issues my body has is ridiculous, because if you ever meet me in real life, or if you actually meet me, my shoulders are so fucking tight that like I frequently get headaches because of how like tight like my shoulders are, which leads to like tightness in my neck, which then leads to pretty bad headaches. So if you see me complaining a lot about headaches, it's because my body is just generally just in pain. I'm gonna hate this, but I might as well do that.
여기다.
The fuck? That sounds like so much suffering. I feel bad. It doesn't, it's not like the absolute like worst pain. It's not like I can't like deal with it.
주술, 윤령, 칭령.
Like, it's not, I mean, like, if you put pressure on my shoulders, then yeah, I'm gonna be, like, in pain, just being like, I can't, like, it hurts. But, like, you can, like, touch my shoulders and all. It's not gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, I can't move. We're about to be in for a world of pain. Hello. Ah, fuck. Lunge damage, bitch!
윤령, 칭령, 주술. 불 조심해.
Fuck you, Yoimiya can't do much. Yoimiya's a baby! Stop it, she's a baby! She ain't built! She ain't built well! The bitch is ah!
윤령.
Oh my god. Going on a trip to fucking stab that bitch.
부탁해. 불꽃놀이가 보고 싶어?
As long as he doesn't do spinny spinny, we're okay. It's enough! Ah! He's doing spinny spinny! Swim, bitch, swim. No! Oh fuck, I think did I drown? We're good. We're fine. We're alive.
주술, 윤령.
There we go.
재밌는 물건이라도 있어?
Spinny. I hate that attack. Apparently he's built a vapor as your ass. Welcome back to the land of living, Shao. I will never believe the absolute insanity of finding 130 something Oculus. I will never get over that. I got Gene before Ganyu? The fuck do you mean? Okay. I'll take it. Big boy. Big boy. I see something I need. Oh, wait, fuck that. Never mind. Would you like to see the boy? Do you want to see the boy? Do you want to see the best boy in this game? It might not be dark enough. It's not dark enough. Who is best boy? You're about to meet best boy. You are about to meet best boy. This is best boy. This right here. This is best boy. He's a little bit traumatized, but he's best boy. He is best boy. Look at him. He does this little. He looks like his hyper ADHD, just like me. Yep. No, it gets really cute. Because technically he's not supposed to be like a thing, because any like machines that have like realistic like human emotions are supposed to be destroyed. So when it is not daytime, he has to become a little box. Hyper ADHD. My ADHD is calmed down right now. Making him a thing solely because he's a boy. Yes! No. His cutscene that he's involved in, no, his fucking, like, the story quest that he's in is Tanari's. And his full creator dies. And there's a part where he's trying to fix him because he thinks that he's a robot, so he puts, like, all these different parts. It is the most saddest ass scene. So the second I saw that, I went, this is my son now. He is my son. He is solely mine. And nothing will ever take that away from me. Wait, fuck. But also, the sound he makes. Major sad pog on that. It's so sad! I was like, damn, I never thought I would be so... I was like, oh, it's a cute little robot. Oh, it's traumatized. He makes the cutest noise. He is the embodiment of the audio. Oh, it's adorable. Oh, it's traumatized. Sadder than Papyrus's pasta. Nothing can be sadder than Papyrus's pasta. Wait.
내가 앞장설게.
The fucking floppy ears. That would have been cute if you had a different reaction if you have Tenari as a character. We got the other boy. We got the other sarcastic boy who I love dearly. I need to upgrade this. I need to actually, like, start doing shit. Best Boy meets the Best Boy mega collab. He's a part of his story. You make Best Boy through Best Boy. Yes. My boy only has 700 health. I need to build him better. But he is very much a Best Boy. King. No, his voice actor and Sino's voice actor, I can listen to them like have a genuine conversation for hours.
가끔은 아무것도 모른 채로 이것저것 만져대고 입에 넣는 녀석들이 부러워. 그들의 색
You are a pain in the ass. I love him. But fuck these scarabs. He's one of the coolest characters, yet he's a pain in the ass to build. Then we have the human fucking glow stick. I can go into heavy detail about this character, and I will go into heavy detail about this character, because I have some things to say. Also looks pretty sick. Character-wise, I love her to death. She is one of my favorite written Genshin Archons. Like, she's one of my favorite Archons written in this game. I just wish her design was different. I wish that she was darker. Because how are you going to be a nation based on multiple different countries and have her literally be a fucking glow stick? Like, how? She's the Archon of Dendros, so she has all, like, the green shit. Again, I just wish she had, like, a darker skin. I wish she had more of, like, an Indian theme, like, an Indian-inspired, like, look more. Again, I can go off about the Sumeru characters. But now's not the time. But we got Sleepy College Student. She is literally a tired college student, and I love her. I have not heard her Korean voice yet.
별하늘을 바라보지 않아도 별하늘은 영원히 우리를 왜 보고서와 논문을
She's literally stupid. She's stupid?
다리가 쑤시네요.
Sleepy college student.
또 몽유를 했나 봐요.
I love her. Is she a bookworm? No, sleepy college student. No, she's literally a sleepy college student. That's her entire character. Wait, hold up. Hold up. I think there's an event I have not started.
수메르에서 일어난 소동도 일단락됐네. 이런
I'm
때일수록
just gonna refer to her as
엉뚱한
sleepy
일이
college student then. No, literally when she was introduced and they like explained that she was in academia and she was a sleepy character, we just started calling her sleepy college student. I have 4 days to complete this. Let's fucking do it. Had to speedrun events because I didn't do shit.
수메르성 근처를 한번 살펴보자. 도움이 응? 언제 여기에 공지판이 생겼지? 이거
Let's play some Genshin Pokemon. Why not?
버섯모는 마무리잖아. 대장에 가서 확인해 볼까?
We're about to hear the best fucking soundtrack in this game. Please start playing. Don't call me a liar. Where are the fruity bitches? Wait. Pit stop. Where are the fruity bitches?
아직 안 가본 곳이
I hate her voice. I'm sorry. Fuck.
전부 다 보인다. 최근에 별다른 정보가 없으니 아카데미아와 연락은 잠시 멈춰야겠네.
Damn it. Where the fuck is the fruity bitch at?
역사를 연구하는 데 중요한 건 고증이 아니라 다른 사람이 믿도록 설득하는 걸지도. 진정한 역사는 전설보다 훨씬 굉장하겠지.
Did they get rid of her bell? No, they didn't. It's just very quiet. Okay, they didn't get rid of it. I was actually about to cry. I was like, please no, that bell brings me so unnecessary joy. I'm also pretty sure they got rid of the fruity bitches. And I'm actually gonna be really angry about that. Wait. Nope. Damn. I'll look for...
돈을 얼마나 벌어야 궁전을 지을 수 있을까?
I love how they basically said, here you go, you can find out hidden lore if you use this character. Okay, I can hear her bell. I was about to be really sad if they got rid of it.
전부 다 보인다고.
Damn, they actually got rid of them. I'm actually really sad about that. Imagine deciding to cosplay Best Boy. I have seen some, like, good cosplays of people cosplaying as Sonari, but I'm not seeing any of the Cube.
좋아. 모처럼 네가
Oh shit.
무능하군.
He doesn't take plunge damage, it's fine. Like, I've seen some good one. No, you're a fucking male. I swear to God, there was a fucking fruity ass character. I'm sure about to witness people fucking do Pokemon shit.
달력국커 훈련사 대회 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Don't even get me started with the fan art. The fan art, the fanfics are fucking good.
차오틀야입니다. 다들 버섯몬 제작전에 대해 궁금한 점이 많으시죠? 보상이 기대되지만 한편으론 안전한 조치가 제대로 되었는지 불안한 분도 계실 겁니다. 그러나 걱정 마십시오. 이번 대회를 위해 준비한 지혜 구슬은 이성 증폭이라고 하는 생론파 최첨단 기술을 적용해 매우 안전하니까요. 그러니 안심하시고 대회에 임해주시기 바랍니다.
Like the fan art, spectacular. I've seen people do redesigns of it, and they're so pretty. Tuna Maya has one of my favorite redesigns of him so far, even though it's not done yet. But she also has my favorite Layla design.
결승전에 올라 최종 시험을 통과해 에린겐 씨의 뜻을 관철시킬 수 있는 능력을 증명한다면 자신의 재산을 전부 양도할 의향도 있다고 하십니다. 단
Oh yeah, no, his fan art with Sino, it's over with. It's adorable. I love this ship.
우와, 대회에 6천만 모라를 쾌척하는 재력가라니. 거기다 이 훈련사 대회를 계속 열기만 하면 전 재산을 준다고? 잠깐! 주최 측에서 아카데미의 학자까지 내세우다니. 그렇다면 우리가 멋대로 중지하는 것도 좋지 않겠어?
When I want more Genshin lore, I just go to the wiki. I just go to the wiki. That shit's where I found out everything, and also yes, every sort of fanfics. You just want the prize money. Also, I have a cherry. No, this is orange vanilla. I have a Coke that I haven't drinking yet, so. Yo, who opened the snacks? I didn't open the snacks. I was putting away a snack. I was snacking on popcorn, but I just didn't say anything. Fuck you, Atlas. Motherfucker, are you cooking us ramen tomorrow? Shut the fuck up. I need to record TikTok tonight. I have the audio. I was just like, I don't want to do this while I was high. I clicked off the fucking game!
그리고 괜찮은 등수에 들어서 수고비도 벌 수 있으면 좋잖아. 저기서 참가 신청을 받는 것 같아.
We are literally just about to become Pokemon trainers.
앞사람 참가 신청이 아직
I like her.
금빛 유성 여행자와 은빛 반성 페이몬. 너희도 대회에 참가하려고?
Oh, her voice is hot. Oh no.
왜? 우리 알아? 그런
알지? 너희한테 당할 뻔했던 용병들이 만나면 조심하라면서 인상착의를 그린 전단을 뿌렸거든.
Oh, wonderful. Ow, what the fuck? Ow.
칭찬 고맙다고 해야 될지. 우리 그렇게 무서운 사람.
Motherfucker, we defeated a false god. We fucking drop kicked a
이번
bitch.
대회에서 훈련사는 무기를 휴대해서도 주먹을 휘둘러서도 안 돼. 그 말은즉 대회의 핵심은 버섯문을 포획하고 훈련해서
확실히 우린 근데 넌 대회 관계자도 아닌 것 같은데 아주 자신감이 넘치네.
Yeah, no, you want it. We're literally about to become Pokemon trainers.
내 이름은 한야. 예전에 도금
한야.
여단에서 난폭한 동물
한야.
진군을 길들이는 일을 해서
Again.
훈련사라는 칭호를
I'm
얻었지.
gonna say this again because I always say this. I will defend everyone who works on my Hoyoverse except for the people who create the playable characters. Because the NPCs are fucking gorgeous.
이름 같은 건 기억할 필요 없고
Wow, Paimon's fucking glowing. I looked away from my screen and turned back. She's glowing.
아무튼 이 분야는 내가 좀 잘 알거든. 내가 좀 알려줄까?
Here it is. Best soundtracks playing.
같은 편이 되든 안 되든 너인 대회에서 나에게 방해되는 걸 처리해 줄 테니 나한테도 이득이지. 물론 웬만하면 같은 편인 게 좋겠지만.
I want to kiss whoever came up with this.
꽤
This theme.
솔직담백하네. 우리끼리 맨땅에 헤딩하는 것보단 이 분야에 빠삭한 사람이 지도해주는 게 더 나을 것 같은데 어때?
그럼 지혜의 구슬을 챙겨서 출발하자. 주최 측이 지정한 구역으로 가서 버섯문을 포획하는 거야.
Okay, I'm out.
행동력이 엄청 빠르네.
여기가 포획 구역이야. 이 일대의 버섯문은 지혜의 구슬과 상성이 좋아서 지혜의 구슬로 버섯문을 포획하고 넣어둘 수 있는데 이게
We're literally just a Pokemon player now.
버섯문을 잡으면 코드명을 붙여주는 게 좋아. 그럼 더 쉽게 지휘할 수 있거든. 내 옆에 있는 얘는
원소 종류의 번호만 매긴 게 어떻게 이름이야? 엄청 기운 넘치게 생겼단 뜻으로 해피 폴짝 버섯은 어때?
No, it's funny because they went all out for these names. It's actually fucking hilarious.
굳이 고맙긴 하지만 나한테
하긴 너도 익숙한 이름이
I hate the fungi. I do when it comes to fighting them, but I want to become a Pokemon trainer. Damn it. God damn it. Oh. Damn it. There we go. Where's the other one? Where's the blue bitch? Oh, of course you fly. Who's that fun guy? Got him. Stormlord. This game really said we're gonna make the reference. Sounds right. Bongo head. Bongo head. Bongo head. Bongo head. They really made references.
이 이름들 어때? 괜찮지? 대회장에서 큰 소리로 부르면 엄청 멋있을 거야. 이 버섯몬의 동글동글한 머리는 꼭 작은 북 같아.
He's just a little guy! Insert squeal of excitement. I think ping pong.
저 기뻐하는
Listen, I just think they're cute little guys, but when they try to snipe my ass in the no, listen, these guys, I fucking love them. They don't do any harm. The other ones can suck my dick.
얘 엄청 순하다.
Ping pong's just like a little puppy.
잘 부탁해, 둥둥 모자. 자, 이 기세로
Where's the animo bitches? Sorry, I need these for a character. Fast say, if you're gonna tell me an Aranara is in this bitch, I will drop everything to go get it. F my typing. Listen, you come into my chat, you lose all ability to type correctly. That has become a running inside joke since the very fucking beginning. Oh my god, we get the cryo bitch. Oh my god, I got both of them. Cooley, get your ass back here. Fuck. I hit the tree. Got it. This is a Kaya joke. This is a cool it. That is a Kaya joke.
잘했어. 네 마리 다 모였으니 주최 측이 제공한 플로럴 젤리로 버섯문의 능력을 깨울 차례야. 그래.
생각보다 엄청 진도가 빠르네. 고마워 한이야. 우리 이제 저기 봐. 저 사람 휘청휘청하는데 옆에
Layla! Sleepy college student!
공격받고 있는 건가? 쓰러졌다. 얼른 가보자. 몸에 힘이 없어서 더 이상 못 가겠어요.
Layla!
저기 혹시
My
다쳤어?
beloved!
괜찮아?
화염이로 해치워버려.
Pyro one.
잠시만요. 얘는 적이 아니라 제
She's
파트너예요.
literally a sleepy college student.
피곤해서 걸을 힘이 없는 것뿐이에요.
Shroom buddies!
구해야 참가 자격을 얻을 수 있는데.
My love.
너도 대회 참가자였군. 여기서 경쟁자를 만나다니. 전 여기까지인가 봐요.
Twirly swirly! Ah, my beloved!
빙글빙글 문을 부탁드릴게요. 부디 높은 순위까지 올라가 주세요. 벌써 포기하면 어떡해. 우리가 도금여단도 아니고 네 버섯 친구
I love
아르체야.
her.
우리 그렇게 비겁한 사람 아니야. 우리와 대결하고 싶다면 대회장에서 정정당당하게 싸우자고. 여기 있는 훈련사 한이야처럼 말이야.
See, this. Hi, welcome to. My high is now officially worn off. I'm back to normal.
가르쳐줬거든.
이거 칭찬인가?
너의 이름과 목표를 말해봐. 금빛 유성 여행자와. 정말요? 버섯 친구 네 마리를 모을 수 있도록 도와준다고요?
Gonna take a shower and head to bed. Good luck in the Pokemon grading.
그분이
I will.
행운을
Daisy.
전 레일라예요.
See ya.
메타와이스 학부의 평범한 학생이죠.
Have a good night. Enjoy your shower and rest.
제 목표는 이 대회에서 8강에 드는 거예요. 그럼 버섯 친구들을 집에 데려가서 힘쓰는 일을 좀 부탁할 수 있거든요. 물론 제가 잘 돌봐줄 거예요. 규칙에 그런 내용이 있었던 것 같아. 8강에 든 선수는 원하는 버섯몬을 집에 데리고 갈 수 있다고. 근데 힘쓰는 일이라니? 학생의 일과는 과제랑 논문 아니야? 부끄러운 얘기지만 사실 제가 선천성 수면 장애를 가지고 있는지 밤에 잠을 잘 못 자서 체력이 바닥이에요. 평소에 운동을 조금만 해도 아까처럼 탈진 상태가 된답니다. 제가 말한 힘쓰는 일은 책을 옮기거나 물건 사오기 같은 심부름이에요. 아, 그런 거였어? 그 정도는 문제 없지. 나도 얘한테 웃기거든.
버섯문을 친구라고 하는 걸로
I know that shadow jump.
에링겐과 똑같이 황당한 생각을 하고 다른 사람을 도울 만큼 여유 있는 걸 보니 요령을 대충 행운을 빌어. 그럼 내
왜 갑자기 한이야? 아직 너랑 화염 이로한테 고맙다는 인사도 못했는데 어디가? 괜찮을까요? 아닐 거야. 말은 좀 직설적으로 해서 따가운 면은 있지만 나쁜 성격은 아니야. 안 그럼 우리 도와줬겠어? 그래, 지금 우리가 할 우와, 대성공이야. 이걸로
Yes. Hold up. I wanna see my insane wish currency. Oh my god. Yo, I'm about to just go over the pity.
어디 보자. 예선전 배치가 가능하다면 마지막에도
Aw.
주인이랑은 안 싸웠으면 좋겠어.
Sleepy College student, I fucking love her.
어머, 여기서 다 보네.
Oh, hello,
역시
madam.
사람들의
It's
이목을 끄는
lesbian.
곳엔 항상 너희가 있구나. 라이트 노벨의 주인공처럼.
미코! 내가 헛개비를 보고 있나? 네가 왜 여기 있어?
에너지마일까지 이 대회 광고가 들어왔지 뭐야. 그것도 야외 출판사 앞에 전단을
It's
떡하니
the fox
붙였더라고.
lesbian.
정말 라이트 노벨이랑 어울리는 대회 같지 않아? 요즘 야외 출판사에서 반세기를 풍미할 차세대 걸작을 기획 중이거든. 주제도 마침 딱 파트너와 경기라서 물론 작가들 원고를 검토하려면 사전 지식이 있어야 하니까 나도 이쪽은 내 파트너 백내찬아야.
Aw.
소우카가 지어준 이름인데 꽤 마음에 들어. 독특한 기백이 느껴지지 않아?
미코가 참여할 정도로 스케일이 큰 대회였을 줄이야.
소우카, 와서 인사 나눠. 이 대회에서 가장 강한 상대가 될 테니까 이 꼬마들을 모티브로 한
Shit, I just accidentally opened Spotify.
만드는 것도 나쁘지 않겠어?
네, 편집장님. 사람들의 마음을 사로잡는 작품을 쓸 수 있도록 열심히 싸워 이겨 보이겠습니다.
Aaron has a 10. Yo, I might have to steal Aaron's playlist.
미코가 데려와.
바로 그런
It is a
기세야.
10-hour playlist.
전혀 못 느꼈어요.
그럼 얼른 여관에
좀 무섭지만 카리스마가
Miko is absolutely terrifying.
저도 친해지고 싶어요.
이 조용한 친구는 누구야?
Oh,
버섯몬 잡을 때 새로 사귄 친구야. 레일라라고 해. 훈련이 잘 된 버섯몬을 집에 데려가서 같이
버섯문을 훈련시켜서 데리고 재밌네. 비밀이 난 야에미코라고 해. 취미로 라이트 노벨 편집 일을 하고 있지. 넌 흥미로운 점이 많을 것 같네. 앞으로
무슨 말을 해야 할지 모르겠어.
and this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a gay panic.
예선 준비도 할 겸 버섯 친구들과 서로 알아가는 시간을 갖고 싶어서.
Also, I'm so mad she's a sword user and not a catalyst.
조절 잘하고 저번처럼 미코.
뭐? 내가 그렇게 무서워? 다음에 만나면 오해도 풀 겸
Madam, you scare me.
봐야겠네. 그나저나 나한테 하고 싶은 말이 있는 것 같네, 꼬마야. 네가 대회의 열기에 휩쓸려 판단력이 흐려지지 않은 걸 보고
야예 공사님 이렇게 뵙게 되어 영광입니다.
Please tell me she's not fucking here for
도착하실
skirmish.
때마다
대회 책임자잖아.
어라? 대회 준비가 아주 순조롭나 봐요.
일반 참가자라니요. 지혜의 구슬을 이미 사용.
지금은
조급해할 것 없습니다, 가우티
Listen,
씨.
I love pretty
비즈니스
fox
얘기를
women
번개로
enough that my own
하시는
roommate is
비밀
down bad for
계획은
her.
적절하지 않은 것 같군요. 거기다 친구분과 오랜만에 만나 말씀 나누.
전국을
야외 공사님의 인정 그리고 그 유명한 여행자가 대회에 참가할 줄은 몰랐군요. 멋진 활약.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
미코, 저 사람들 사업 얘기를 하러 온 것 같은데 이렇게 거절해도 괜찮아? 특히 저 거상이랑은 잘 지내면 야외 출판사도
I might put
이득이
to sleep again.
텐데.
개최 역사도 짧은 대회를 티바트 각지에 홍보하는 건 평범한 상인이 할 수 있는 일이 아니야. 그런 까다로운 협력처 때문에 각종 제약을 받는 건 사절이라고. 게다가 이제 막 시작한 대회가 어떻게 흘러갈진 아무도 모르는 거잖아? 난 그냥 마음 놓고 즐기면서 불안정 요소에나 주의를 기울일 거야. 버섯무는 겉보기엔 귀엽지만 강한 원소의 힘을 품고 있어. 이런 마물에게 경계심을 늦추는 건 결코 현명한 행동이 아니야. 그렇지?
역시 네 생각도 그렇구나. 우리도 처음엔 위험하지 않. 적어도 지혜의 구슬에
예나 지금이나. 그럼 예선적
I have 10,000 primo gems to my name. The Scaramouche is coming home either way.
자, 이제
Oh, fuck. Sit in my face. Sit on my face. Spit in my face. Hey, good sir.
이번 대회 우승 후보가 드디어
우리
당연하지. 한이아 씨 같은
주최 측 직원
I don't care. Miko's not here. Oh. Let's do it. Gotcha. Cultivate. Oh shit, I fucked up. Wait, okay. There we go. Nice. Okay. Cultivate. Oh, you are a very angry little boy. Okay. Haha. And then it's just... There we go. My brain is actually working. Alright, now let's do you. That one took a lot long. That one took a lot longer, but it worked. Okay. Evil boy. Ow! That hurt. Preset? Huh? Oh shit. So I need 2. Switch you and you. Hold up. Oh shit. Okay. There we go. That was annoying. There we go. Okay, nice.
이 정도면 둥둥 모자랑 다른 애들도 전투에서 실력을 발휘할 수 있을 거야.
I want to get the animal boy. Okay. So he's healing. Okay. We're going on a trip to beat the shit out of us. I'm Pokemon.
시간이 좀 남았으니까 버섯몬들을 훈련해보자.
God damn it. I had a feeling. Oh my god, it is fucking literally Pikachu. I fucking choose you. I wanna try this shit. I want to literally do Pokemon, fucking Pikachu, I choose you bullshit. Confirm. Oh my god. Alright, let's go. Okay. Uh-oh. Shit. Oh! Let's start strong. Oh my god, they're kicking this man's ass. Look at my children. Look at them go. Look at my boys. Nah, you can casually get your shit rocked in. This is straight up Pokemon. Lego! I did good. My boys are growing. Wait until the next morning, 8. I'm pretty sure this is not gonna work, but we'll see. Oh, hey.
시간 다 됐어.
Just gonna quickly exchange that for that.
예선전이 곧 시작돼.
신사숙녀 그리고 저는 줄곧 위험한 생물과 공존할 방법을 찾아왔고 여러분 손에 있는 지혜의 이 대회에서
Alright, I'll do this one fight, and then I just realized it's almost just 11, so I'm gonna do this fight and then we're gonna head off to bed.
그 정도로 자세한 설명은
설명은 다음 기회에 하죠.
완전 기술 마니아인 예선전이 드디.
Oh shit, Sino. Hey. Yeah, of course he's already gone. Cool. Start match. Firm.
첫 상대 덤벼. 화려하고 날 긴장할 거 없어.
Are you a bitch? That is not the one I want to hit.
속공으로 가면 우리한테 유리해. 가자. 둥둥 모자. 블링블링 워터볼을 사용해.
I was about to say, like, I don't even know who's my enemy and who's not my enemy.
기죽지 마. 중독권.
There's so much happen. What the fuck?
잘했어. 이럴 수가. 내 질풍 공격이.
What the fuck happened? Okay, never mind. I did not think it would go that fast.
버섯몬으로 다른 아까 싸운 훈련사와 버섯몬들도 꽤 죽이 잘 맞던데? 아이 그런 뜻이야. 난 둥둥모.
그건 파트너 간의 케미에 달려있지.
Oh shit, hello!
미코! 레일라도 빙글빙글 몬과 버섯 친구들이 정말 잘 싸워줬어요. 그러고 대회장에 돌아왔는데 야애씨 상대가 넋이나간 표정으로.
레일라와 소우카 모두 상대를 이기고 경기를 무사히 끝냈어. 근데 난 맥이 빠지네. 막 재밌어지려는데 경기가 끝나버리는 건 뭐람?
이제 겨우 예선인데 벌써부터 괴물 같은 상대가 나오면 시합이 너무 어려워지잖아. 근데 미코, 넌 무슨 할 얘기가 있어서 온 거야?
아주 좋아. 아예 이 기세를
좋은 생각.
경치가 좋네. 그러니 버섯몬들과 실컷
오예, 먹을 거라.
나한테 신통력이 있긴 하지만 그런 능력을 내가 지옥 훈련이라도 준비한 버섯몬과 만약 네가 더 강해지길 바라는 마음에 꼬마가 너한테 초콜릿 볶음을 만들어서 추추폭도 정도는 한 손.
뭐야 그 눈빛은. 나한테 그러기만 해봐. 3일.
Good.
5일은 너랑 말도 안 섞을 거야.
봐. 너희처럼 오래 알고 지낸 사이도 훈련을 강요받는 건 싫은데.
그 야애씨 말이 맞아요. 네. 친구란 건 조금씩 전 이런 도구에 의존해서 빙글빙.
진실한
하지만 버섯몬의 구속을 풀어도 아무 문제 없을.
하고 싶은 대로 해봐 레일라. 걱정 마. 뒤처리는 우리가 해줄게.
네, 그럼 한번 해볼게요. 혹시 모르니 조심하세요. 우와, 지혜의 구슬을 껐는데도 자유롭게
지혜의 구슬이 버섯몬의 성격을 차분하게 만들어준 걸지도 몰라. 그럼 이건 이 가설이 사실이라면 레일라의 바람이 이루어지겠네.
미코 말이 맞아. 열심히 할게요. 그럼 페이몬도 질 수 없지. 우리도.
저기서 물놀이 하고 싶니? 빙글빙글.
조심해야 할걸. 물속에선 백내차녀한테 가까이 가지 마.
맞다. 레일라, 미코. 그렇군요. 둥둥 모자. 얘가 날 못. 살려주세요. 내가 들은 거랑 다른. 들었어? 누가 얼른 가보자.
Goddamn, there's so much shit. I'll do this last thing.
너희가 여긴 웬일이야?
한이야?
우연일 뿐이었어.
너무 위험하잖아.
너무 뭐라고 하지 마. 버섯문이 위험한 마무리란 건 다들 잘 알고 있어. 하지만 요새 달 연꽃컵 대회 때문에 사람들의 경계심이 약해지고 있지. 에린겐도 이 생각은 못했나 봐. 이 말 같지 않은 대회 지혜의 구슬을 활용하면
그게 무슨 말이야? 너도 대회 참가자잖아. 우리 지도에
화염이로도 자기 종족이 저지른 과업 널 지도한 이유는
Why is he so
하지만
big?
결국 너희도
잠깐 기다려. 글쎄 우리가 아까 지혜 구슬을 끄고 버섯몬이랑 즐겁게 놀기까지 했다니까.
이런 정말 개성 있는 캐릭터네. 저 고집 있는 성격 좀.
미코, 레일라, 너희도 구조 요청을 듣고 왔구나.
레일라한테 들었어. 방황하는 캐릭터에겐 그게 가장 효율적이면서.
난폭한 버섯몬이 주위 오래전부터 존재해온 종을. 레일라 말이 맞.
오, 그녀의 웃음길을 막아서겠다고? 너희가 하려는 행동은 내 예상대로야. 아주 강력한 우승 후보라.
미코가 우리 여기로 데리고 오라? 그럼 설마
모든 일이 조용히 흘러가기. 오늘 수행은
Damn. Damn. Migo straight up said nah. Okay. Yeah. That's where I'm gonna end for today. I'm getting tired. So we're gonna go right Tapo. I think we deserve some speed running. But yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna stream tomorrow. That is like a definite, like, I don't know, 100% type shit. Because, yeah. But I will, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll see. But yeah, bye, I'm tired.